Chainsaw Man episode 9 from Kyoto. So in this episode, we get Chainsaw Man versus Katana Man, and we also get to witness Makima's power. And I've been kind of waiting for this episode because I like to cruise the forums and message boards after every episode just to see what people who are only watching the anime have to say about the episode. And I noticed a lot of people were simping for Makima. And I'm just like, oh man, just wait. Wait until you see how truly frightening she can be. And this episode basically showed it all. So for any Himeno fans out there, I'm sorry, but we get to show Himeno die again. So in the last episode, you had to witness her die. And in this episode, you get to witness her die again. So yeah, we see Himeno sacrificing parts of her body to try to take out Katana Man. And then eventually she disappears because the snake devil eats the ghost devil and kills it. Himeno is dead. And as Katana Man and Akane are talking amongst themselves about taking Denji's hearts, they don't notice that a small ghost hand has still survived. And it crawls over to Denji and it yanks his cord and it brings him to life. Which kind of begs the question of why Himeno didn't just use that in the first place. Instead of sacrificing her all to try to save Aki, she could have just used her power and just yank Denji's cord. Who knows, maybe it's just because in the heat of the moment she thought that Aki's life was pretty much in peril and she wouldn't have time to yank Denji's cord in time to save Aki. But anyways, Denji transforms into Chainsaw Man. He goes absolutely sadistic and we get our fight between Katana Man and Chainsaw Man. And the fight is pretty cool. Unfortunately, it doesn't last as long as I was hoping it would last. But we get a good fight nonetheless. And as they're fighting each other, Akane calls in for reinforcements to help Katana Man. And the reinforcements come in the form of two regular dudes with guns. And Denji starts taking them out. But one of them is able to get a couple shots off on Denji. So he grabs his body and basically uses them as a human shield. And he tells Katana Man, hey, this is one of your buddies, right? Don't take another step, otherwise I'm going to make mincemeat out of him. I'm like, this is our heroes, ladies and gentlemen. A man using another dude as a human shield and threatening to chainsaw him to tiny bits. Then again, the dude is evil, so you can't fault Denji for wanting to use him as a human shield. But yeah, Katana Man doesn't listen to Denji. In fact, he charges at Denji and slices both him and his henchmen in half, and the fight is over. And as Katana Man's like picking up Denji's body, his katana powers disappear and he turns back into his human form. And he basically says that the devil hunters should be dead because they can't win against guns. And we get a montage of all the Division 4 members all shot dead. And then we eventually cut to Makima, who's been shot dead. She's in the train on its way to Kyoto. And the men that have shot her are basically getting ready to depart. They're getting ready to kind of, blend in with the crowd and make their escape. When all of a sudden Makima is standing right behind them, completely okay. And we go to the Kyoto station where we see Yutaro and Michiko for Makima to arrive. And another public devil hunter shows up and tells them that, hey, Special Division 1, 2, 3, and 4 were ambushed in Tokyo. We believe all of them are dead. And they're like, oh, I guess we've wasted our time because Makima's probably dead too, right? And that's when the train arrives and everybody inside the train's freaking out, rushing out. And Makima eventually appears just completely covered in blood. And of course, Yutaro and Michiko are worried about her. They're like, hey, are you okay? Were you shot? And that's when Makima says that this blood's not me. I wasn't shot. And that should be a huge red flag for anyone watching this who hasn't read the manga, that something's not all right with Makima. And we get more of that later on. So we'll get to that. But eventually the two of them inform Makima about what's been going on in Tokyo, and they wonder if maybe we should head back. And Makima is like, no, we wouldn't be able to make it in time. Even if we were to head back immediately, there's nothing we can do there. They're most likely going after Denji. Instead, she's like, I think I have a solution. I need you to borrow 30 convicts serving a life sentence or worse. And I also need you to find a shrine at the highest altitude possible and rent it out for me. And also give me some clean clothes. And so we see the convicts and they're being transported in the back of a van. I will say that it's kind of weird how we don't actually see 30 convicts. It's supposed to be 30, but we only see like 10, 15. We don't really see 30, but 30 convicts. And so, yeah, we cut back to Katana Man. And Katana Man's basically saying that he won't be able to fight for a while. And he orders his men to carry Denji. And as they're carrying Denji, one of the men sees a crow watching them. And he starts freaking out. And he starts saying that something's wrong. Like, something feels strange. And immediately he gets crushed to death by like an invisible force. He just turns into mincemeat. Just nothing but a huge blood splatter on the ground. And Akane freaks out. She immediately calls Team E to ask if Team C can confirm that Makima's dead. She has like a funny line where she's like, this bullshit power, it must be Makima. So immediately she realizes that Makima is way too OP. So yeah, she calls Team E to confirm that, to call Team C and confirm that Makima is dead. A Team E member is unable to contact Team C. He says that he hasn't been able to contact them for a while. And then he sees a crow, and then he's immediately crushed to death. And then we cut to the shrine where we see Makima. And the convicts are all kneeling down with their hands behind their back, blindfolds on. Yutaro and Michiko also have blindfolds. And the reason why is because they are unable to know what Makima's contract devil powers are. Only the very tippy-top higher-ups of the public safety devil hunters can know. And they're not them, so they can't know. And what we see is we see Makima going to each convict one by one. And she's telling them, I want you to say the name. And she repeats the names of all the terrorists that were gunning down the division members. And once the convict repeats the name, Makima starts making like crushing motions with her hands. And then we see the person whose name the convict just say get crushed. So yeah, Makima's powers is, well, one of her powers, I'll just say that, is crushing people when their names are said. So it's almost like a Death Note power. So she goes to every convict member, say this name, they say the name, she crushes them. And as soon as she crushes them, the convict dies. And so she goes through all the convicts and ends up killing pretty much all the terrorists except for Katana Man and Akane. And so, yeah, we just see just a bunch of blood splatters everywhere. But yeah, Makima then says that she's done. And Michiko and Yutaro pull up their blindfolds and they just see all the dead convicts. And they're just kind of like, what the hell just happened? And Makima just calmly explains, I've done all that I can from here. It's time we head back to Tokyo. And yeah, Akane, she's like, all right, we got to get the hell out of here. So they're trying to get Denji into the car when all of a sudden Kobeni shows up. And we see Kobeni holding a knife and a radio. She's been listening to all the terrorist communications. And she just has this expression on her face. Basically, Kobeni just got mind broken. And she's about to go psycho. But before she does, we get a flashback where we see the granny. And the granny shoots Arai in the neck. And she's about to shoot Kobeni when Arai maneuvers himself in front of Kobeni and takes a headshot for her. And he drops dead. And Kobeni is just watching this. And then all of a sudden, we cut back to the present, where we just see Kobeni and she's watching the two terrorists. And she basically says, you two are with the shooters, aren't you? And Akane calls her Snake. The Snake Devil starts attacking Kobeni. And Kobeni just pulls a parkour move. She leaps on top of the Snake Devil, starts rushing across it, dodges bullets, does a bunch of flips, charges at Katana Man, slices off his arm. As his arm is flying through the air, his arm is also holding a gun, which she grabs out of midair, turns, and starts shooting Katana Man in the back. Akane picks up a gun of her own and starts shooting at Kobeni. Kobeni, like a monkey, just starts dodging all these and jumping and leaping over the bullets, grabs Denji's torso and holds it up as a shield. And she just starts taking shots at the truck as Akane shoves Katana Man into the van, jumps inside herself, and sprints off. And Kobeni just watches them disappear. And I was like, all right, this was pretty badass. In the manga, we don't get to see Kobeni being this awesome. Kobeni, I believe, it's been a while since I've read the chapter, but I believe all she does is she kind of runs across the snake devil, but that's kind of it. Like, she doesn't do all these crazy flips and dodges bullets and all that stuff. But yeah, we get to see why Kobeni is a devil hunter. And we go back to what Himeno was saying in previous episodes, where she said that Kobeni is actually really good. It's just he's very timid. And it also kind of goes back to, what was his name? Kibeshi? I forgot his name. Himeno's senior, the blonde-haired guy, the older dude, who told her that to survive, like, the best devil hunters are the ones that are crazy, and the ones that are sane are the ones that end up getting killed. This is like the perfect example of that, because when we see Kobeni, she's usually very timid, but after this whole incident, she gets her mind basically breaks and she snaps. And when she snaps, that's when she is like at her best. Basically, when she's crazy is when she can do all these crazy ass stuff and she's like phenomenal. But it's when she's sane that she's just too scared to be of any use. But yeah, as Kobeni is holding Denji, she basically apologizes for trying to murder him. And then she's like, look at me. I'm apologizing for trying to murder someone. What the hell is wrong with me? And then we see the flashback of Arai sacrificing himself, falling to the floor. Kobeni is watching. And as the granny's about to shoot her, Kobeni rushes at her, grabs the granny's hand, pulls the gun up, and pulls the trigger, causing the granny to shoot herself. So, yeah, Kobeni just freaking crazy. And she basically says that she can't do this. Like, she's going to end up dead if she keeps with this job. And, yeah, it's already making her go crazy. So as soon as she meets Himeno, she's going to tell her that she quits. So that's another kind of gut punch, because Kobeni still doesn't know that Himeno's dead. But we cut to Makima and Michiko and Yutaro, who are, they arrive at Tokyo. And they meet the smartest guy in this entire series, Madoka. So Madoka, we saw him briefly in the episode where they're all eating at the diner, the dinner scene. He's the dude with the black hair with glasses. You can see the screenshot that I have pulled up of him. But yeah, he tells him, Makima's like, I'm glad you're alive. And she asks him how many survived. And he says Special Divisions 1, 2, 3, and 4 came under fire, and almost all the humans died. Only the fiends are kind of still alive. Man, Kobeni. And he says, I got order from the superiors that due to the shortage of people, all 4 divisions are going to be merging into one, and you're going to be the one in charge. You're going to be in control of the group. And Makima just has this smile on her face that should kind of almost send up like a red flag. Like, why is she so happy that she is getting control of all this group? Shouldn't she be kind of sad that a lot of her coworkers had died? But she turns to leave, and that's when Madoka does the smartest thing in this entire series. And he hands her a letter. And he's like, this is my letter of resignation. Things are getting pretty crazy with the special division. I don't trust you. So he doesn't say that, but that's kind of what he's hinting at. Like, I don't trust you. I don't want to follow your orders. Something's not right. So he says, it's either I quit or I end up dead. So Makima turns to leave when Madoka's like, I have one more question. How much of what went down, how much of the attack did you anticipate? And Makima just kind of stands still for a while, silent. And then she says, I'm not allowed to discuss public safety, internal affairs with civilians. And then she leaves, which should send up another red flag that Makima was aware of all this. Yutaro and Michiko follow after Makima and basically say that, hey, we're not going to be joining your division. We're just here as like advisors, and we're going to head back to Kyoto within a week. And Makima's like, oh, that's a shame. The food here in Tokyo is to die for. I was like, oh, interesting choice of words to use there. And then as one more sucker punch to all Himeno fans, the ending theme is a sad song, and the videos is just multiple videos of Himeno dying and turning into ghosts and stuff like that. So it's another Himeno-centric video. One of the things is her dying. So yeah, you get to see Himeno die for a third time. So yeah, you got to see Himeno die once in the last issue. You got to see her die again in the beginning of this issue. And you get to see her die again at the end of, at the end of this episode. So yeah, there you go, guys. But there's Chainsaw Man episode 9. We get to see a cool, if not a little bit too short of a fight between Chainsaw Man and Katana Man. Just, I guess, a little bit of spoilers. That's not the final fight we're going to get of them. So anyone who is anticipating another fight, I mean, I don't think that's really spoilers. You guys should pretty much already kind of figure out that we're going to get another fight between the two of them at some point. But yeah, we will. And we also get to see some of Makima's powers in action. And we get to see why Makima is a character you should fear. And we got to see Kobeni just being absolutely insane and showing why she actually fits as a devil hunter. So yeah, I really love the way Makima is portrayed in this anime. Everything she does is so quiet and like reserved. It's like so calculated. She just has that same expression on her face with that like Mona Lisa smile that never quite reaches her eyes. Even when she's doing like good things or helping out other people, her smile never seems genuine. There's just a creepiness to her. Like you could have made her like easily super like psychotic and stuff, but no, she's normal, but she's so normal under situations that shouldn't call for it that it just becomes super uncanny and creepy. So I was like, yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, there you go. Great episode. Looking forward to see more. I believe we're going to be getting my favorite scene soon. I don't remember if it's probably not going to be the last episode, I don't think. Because I believe the elevator scene happens at the end of this arc. And I don't think the next episode is going to be the end of the arc. I can't remember. It's been forever since I've read part 1. So, I know what's going to happen, but I don't really know, like, when exactly it's going to happen. It's just when I'm watching the episode, I'm like, okay, I know what's going to happen in this episode. But until I see the episode, I don't really know. But we might get the cool elevator scene next episode, maybe. Or we might get in the episode after. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that scene. It's like one of the scenes I've been looking forward to the most. The elevator scene and the van scene with Power behind, let's just say Power driving a car. A scene I'm really looking forward to. But yeah, there you go. Anyways, and the Dance Dance Revolution scene. I won't spoil anything else other than Dance Dance Revolution. That's going to be a scene that I think a lot of people are going to enjoy. But we're probably not going to get that in this season. But anyways, I'm rambling at this point. Awesome episode. Loved it. The series has been great so far. Yeah, to everyone who kind of dipped out after the first episode, saying that, Chainsaw Man is just another shonen series. God, did you guys miss out. It's like, I kind of want them to see this episode and be like, really? You still think this is just another shonen series? Because, yeah, we got a lot of people dipping out when Denji said that his goal is to touch boobs, because they just assumed that it's just going to be another pervert main character. And it's like, no, the series is not like any other shonen series. You're really missing out if you just dip out at that point. But, yeah, there you go. Episode 9. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope to see you next time. Take care. Later.